Good afternoon, YouTube. The Irate Trucker with you here today. We've got a 1979 Cadillac Coupe Deville. So anyway, I was going to start driving this. I put the Grand Prix back under the car cover. I was going to start driving this and pushed on the brake to back out of the driveway, and the brake light come on. I ain't got no brakes. So anyway, upon inspection of the car, we found that the master cylinder leaking. You can see it's wet down there at the bottom. You know, it was wet. It is wet. It's wet. So the master cylinder's pretty much gone bad. So anyway, we are going to do a master cylinder today, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. One, we'll take it out, get these lines off, and then we'll go from there. And I'll show you how to bench bleed it on the car. You want to bench bleed the master cylinder because they do have air in them, and they will be hard to bleed, and you can destroy the master cylinder by not doing it. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. It doesn't take much to pull these off. I've already used one of these to break the two brake lines loose on the side. You have two brake lines. This one here goes to your back brakes, and this is your front brake cylinder. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and snatch this out of here. I've already broke those loose with that crow's foot. Or either that, you can use a line wrench, or you can use a wrench. No big deal. Just one of the things that I found, if you're using a regular standard wrench, kind of like give it a pop with your hand until you don't just crank on it. And if you got some rust around your edges, soak it down with some oil so it'll break loose. But anyway, I already broke them loose. So we're going to take these two lines out. I'm not going to empty the master cylinder out. We're not going to go that route. I'll empty that later. I'm trying to get this done. My camera stops in 10 minutes. So this is going to be less than a 10-minute video. Show you it doesn't really take that long to pull this out. Go ahead and hold up on the line a little bit, make it a little easier. So we got fluid coming out of this one and not this one. That's probably because this seal blew in the back. So this chamber is most likely empty. These two bolts back here are 15 millimeter. I'll break it loose. Tool. This thing actually works pretty good. This is in comparison to the Milwaukee's 12 volt or whatever. And this thing actually is not too bad. So that's the other nut. And just pull her out. Okay, now see, you can see down here, see all the fluid down inside of here? Yeah, that was definitely leaking. We'll go grab the rag. You go ahead and wipe this stuff out of here. Now, sometimes this will actually hurt. Something fell down there. I'm just trying to look to see what it was. But anyway, sometimes this will hurt your brake booster if you get too much in it and it doesn't, you don't take care of it and get it out of there. Now, 1 second. Good old trusty brake parts cleaner. Go ahead and spray that grease and all that stuff off of there. And clean her up real nice. Yeah, that's better. That's a little better. Okay, so anyway, now we got that cleaned up. We'll get our new master cylinder here. And I did happen to purchase this one from Amazon. This should be the right one. As the part number comes up, it says it fits. But this was $28 on Amazon compared to $45 at the local parts store. I mean, it doesn't look exactly the same, but it's supposed to fit. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and get these two nuts on. That's one. One thing nice about having a Cadillac this big, it's not hard to get to. All right. Uh-oh. One thing I do notice is these are a little deeper and it's in the way of that particular bolt. So let me go get me a wrench. Finish tightening that down. Again, these are 15mm nuts. Wrong way. Make sure you go the right way. A little more. Oof. Make sure you don't hit that and break it. Alright. It's nice and tight. Use the wrench to pull our top off. We're using fresh brake fluid. We're going to fill these up and I'll show you the kit. Okay. Put our lid on so we don't knock it off and spill it. You know how that goes. Anyway, yes, this is the seal that had failed inside the master cylinder. You see it's all wet in there. Just let it leak fluid out. A couple of tips about brakes. Never fill your master cylinder, because when your brakes are new, your pads are thick, your shoes are thick, everything's working properly. The brake fluid does not evaporate, it does not dissipate. It's always there. It's designed to absorb moisture from the brake system. When your fluid goes low, most of the times on newer cars, you have a sensor on the side of the master cylinder when the fluid level gets low, because the pads have worn to the point to needing replaced. The light should come on inside the car, letting you know that you need to put brakes on it. So, with that said, we have this kit here. This is a Dorman kit. This one has several different styles, threads, so you make sure you get the right one that you can use in here. So what it is, we're going to find the right threads for this. We'll pull this out. We'll pull this one out. We'll set them off to the side. And then we want to find out which ones we have that fit that hole. That's not the one. That's too big. That's too big. Oh, that one fits that one. Okay, that one's a little bigger, so that one fits in there. Okay, and then we have maybe this blue one. Hey there YouTube, the irate trucker. Okay, so my last video ended at the wrong spot, so like I said, I only had 10 minutes. So I'm gonna link these two together, so see what I can do in the studio. I'm new at all this stuff, but anyway, what I did is I found the two fittings that fit in my master cylinder, and I run the lines up into the fluid, and I pushed on the brake pedal about 5-7 times to kind of work that fluid through there, get all the air bled out of that master cylinder. It's called bench bleeding the master cylinder. So anyway, now that we're done with that portion of it, I'm going to go ahead and throw my lines back on. I'll try to not make too much of a terrible mess. Just set that out of the way. Now these are different size. This comes with different sizes. Just need to find which one's for your master cylinder. It's a shame that the master cylinder did not come with that kit. They usually do, but unfortunately this one did not. So anyway, we'll get this one off. Pull that out, drain that back in there. These only have to be finger tight. They don't have to be cinched down with a wrench. They're only plastic. Alright. So far so good. Our lines fit really nice. We have to give it a little bend to get it straightened into the hole. And always start these by hand. Make sure you put them in there 3-4 turns until it pretty much stops. This way you know it's in there and it's not cross-threaded. If you cross-threaded it, you're going to have a bad day. So, no cross-threaded threads. And like I was saying, on the tightening up, do the same thing. Put your wrench on there, give it a little bump. Like so, to tighten it. You want to do that with all your brake lines if you can. And especially your bleeder valves on your calipers and wheel cylinders. Kind of give it a little bump first. Don't try to wrench on it really hard, because that's where most problems come in, and you twist it off. You cause more problems than you. Give it a little bang. We're good there. All right. Let's give it one more fill up to the top, pretty much. It's probably in the right spot, but yeah. I like to make sure mine's almost up to the top, maybe about 1/4 inch from it, 1/8 of an inch. So anyway, like I was saying before, you have the newer brakes, you don't really have to check the fluid, because when the light comes on, it tells you need brakes, go straight to the brake shop, get brakes put on it. If you see it low, never fill it. Never, never, never. It's designed, brake fluid is designed to absorb moisture from the brake system, so your brake lines don't rot from the inside out. Now if you notice, brake lines do get rust on them on the outside. Like I said, the fluid is designed that way. And this is what, when it absorbs the moisture, the fluid becomes acidic. If you was to taste brake fluid, it would be bitter. Petroleum products are sweet, so therefore, but anyway, if you needed to know that, now you know. I have never tasted it. I'm going to take somebody else's word for it. But anyway, it becomes acidic, and it starts to eat at the seals from the inside. So this is why the brake fluid turns black, because it's actually eating the rubber hoses and your seals, because it's not changed. After so long, it absorbs so much moisture and it's so acidic, it'll start eating the rubber. So that's just something to consider. So if you go to a brake shop and they say, well, we need to flush your brake system, it's probably a good idea to do so, because it will proper maintain brakes. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna go start this thing up. See if we got any brakes. Now I know I have to bleed it down to the wheels most likely. So, but anyway, what we're gonna do is you start from the furthest position back out that way. The furthest from the master cylinder. Your master cylinder is there, so you want to be furthest away, furthest away, furthest away, furthest away, getting closer. So you want that one, this one, that one, and this one. So when you go to bleed your brakes, you will need 2 people to do it. The one thing I am going to say, so when you do bleed your brakes, a lot of people say, I'll pump the brakes a couple of times and hold it. Well, you don't want to really do that, because what you're actually doing is you're aerating the brake fluid. So when you pump it, it pumps air into the brake fluid. So when you get down there and you get down there and you got your brake, and you're pumping the brake, you got air bubbles in it. So there's always going to be a little bit of air in your brake system. So the best thing to do would be to open the bleeder, have a person in there to push the pedal to the floor. Holding the pedal to the floor, retighten the bleeder, and then let up off of the pedal. This gives no chance for the fluid to get aerated. So I learned this a long time ago. I'm not going to say where I worked. Maybe a couple of you out there might figure it out, because you probably heard the spew once or twice before. But anyway, it does work right. It works the way it's supposed to. And you have less bleeding. They use a power bleeder, but if you have to foot bleed it, open your bleeder, push the pedal to the floor, tighten the bleeder, let up off the pedal. This way your fluid will not get aerated. So anyway, we're back to this. Let's go see if we got this thing right. Now the keys are still in it. Yep, they're still in it. Oh. All right, let's see what we got. Brake light went back out. So what I'm doing now is I'm checking the brake pedal to see. Let me turn that down. What kind of pedal I got, which it doesn't feel too bad. The brake light went back out, so that's always a good sign. It's a little mushy. So yeah, I'll probably most likely go around and I'll adjust the brakes. Like I said, starting at the passenger side rear, driver side rear, passenger side front, driver side front. This will get you a good bleed sequence. And remember, don't pump the brakes and hold it, because that just aerates the brake fluid and it could cause you other problems. But anyway, that's my brake job from the Irate Trucker. See, it doesn't take too long.